What is up, everybody? Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a little video going over a full tier list of every possible Digimon Digivice I could get my eyes on from the internet. A lot of these devices I honestly haven't even seen before, but I've made a little tier list. I've linked it in the description so you guys can let me know what your tier list is as well. Also, let me know if I forgot anything. I think this is all of the little Digivices I could possibly find, but it's possible I left out like one or two of like the Japanese devices. You know, I've been a Digimon fan for a really long time. I started way back when with the original Digivices, and you know, over the years I've built up quite the collection myself, so I feel like I have some pretty good opinions when it comes to these. What we're going to be doing today, like I said, is organizing all of these in a little tier list, but at the same time we're going to be going over what makes them special on Humulos, maybe going over some of their evolution lines and stuff like that to kind of, you know, flesh out what I really like about them and what makes them special. So that being said, let's just get right in. We're starting off with the Digimon Monster Original, the OG Digivice from like the 90s. I feel like a lot of people in their 30s or older had these back in the day. I loved my original Digimon Monster. Like, I used to have to like smuggle this thing into school in like my shoe, right? I remember because like they were banned at my school back in the day, but like this is where it all started for a lot of people. A lot of people really got into Digivices and Digimon before, you know, the anime was around, before the show was around, before the cards were around. And I just remember bringing these things to school and just doing battles at recess. This thing was so much fun. I think I just had the original one. I don't ever remember getting any of these other ones. But yeah, there are a bunch of different versions, and you know, there's a big difference between the Digital Monsters Original and the DM20, which, you know, a lot of people have, and you can still pick up a DM20 for about 10 bucks nowadays on like Amazon and eBay. But these older ones, they're a lot harder to come by. So that being said, where would I put the original Digital Monster? I'm going to put it in great, and I'm going to try my best to tier these in their tiers. I wouldn't say it's like best. I wouldn't say it's amazing, because like it's definitely like a dated experience. You know, a lot of the, I guess, like slice of life, the like upgrades that come with like a DM20, you know, being able to have like 2 Digimon, it's a lot easier to use. It's just a better overall system, I think, the DM20. But you know, the OG was OG for a reason, and I just always have fond memories of it. And now, I think I've gone back once and used an OG Digivice, and it just felt really clunky. But still, great start. I think a lot of people still have a lot of nostalgia for these, so I'm going to put it at great. Up next is going to be the DM20, right? The DM20, I think, is going to be what most people think of when they think of like Digivices nowadays. DM20 Digimon Original, like Digivice, stuff like that, all these. You can hold 2 Digimon on these, and actually, like, the DM20 is one of my favorite Digivices of, like, all time. Actually, you know, I've had a Machine Dramon on this black Digivice. You can see on a bunch of my videos that I've been doing for, like, the longest time here, I've had a Machine Dramon for, like, 3 or 4 months. I've had this Machine Dramon on here. I raise it every day. My battery just dipped yesterday. I could replace it and continue going, but, like, I feel sad because I've been raising this guy for such a long time. But yeah, the DM20, right? I really do like it, and you have 2 Digimon at once. There's the full like adventure mode and like all, not really adventure mode. It's like a quest mode where you have to do like 100 different arena. It's like arena, right? I think that's a better way of putting it. There's so many different things you can do, and linking it with a bunch of stuff lets you unlock all these other Digivices if you unlock it with like a bunch of, you know, other Digimon. I really do like these devices. I think they're a lot of fun. I still to this day like have like a DM20 going, you know, most of the time. Like I said, I've had this one going for the longest time. I have a pretty big collection of DM20s, so I would definitely put DM20 up here. Like, honestly, like, it's a good one. It's not like the top of the best, but it's definitely one of my favorite devices. It's probably the easiest to use for anyone. So if you're thinking about getting into the Digimon series and you want a cheap way, like I said, you can get these for about 10 bucks on eBay or Amazon, 10-15 bucks, and just go for it. You can raise 2 things at once. They're really easy to use. They're in English. I would highly recommend them for people that are looking to get into the series. So the Digital Monsters Color, right? The Digital Monsters Color is going to be the next one on the list. And this is basically like an expanded upon DM20, but now in color form. You look at all these amazing color sprites, and also at the same time, it's rechargeable. It has like a backlight. These things are really cool. There's actually a sale going on Zenin right now if you want to get these before they're kind of gone forever. They actually run usually about 50 to about 80 bucks. But the sprite work looks really nice. The fact that it's in color looks really nice. You can change the backgrounds. I do really like these devices, but at the same time, I feel like they're priced out of a lot of people's price range because they do a lot of the same things that the original, you know, DM20 and stuff like that does, but it's really expensive and they're hard to get. So that being said, I would just put it in the great. I would put it above the original Digivices, but I'm just not sold on it just yet. I don't think it goes in best. I think the availability of the DM20 is going to put it just a little bit higher in the tier list for me. That's just my opinion, but let me know if you think the DM Color should be a little bit higher. We're going to go talk about another version of the DM Color, and that is going to be the Monster Hunter collab version of the DM Hunter, or the Digital Monsters Color. I like this Digivice a lot. I actually just completed a video where I got through like a full line of it, you know, going on like a bunch of different quest modes and stuff like that. It's a collaboration with the Monster Hunter franchise for the 20th anniversary. We can check it down here. There's so many cool like little sprites and little fun things to do. I really love that Digimon's getting into doing more collabs. So I think this is actually a really, really cool Digivice, and it's technically a Digital Monsters Color Digivice, so it can do a bunch of other stuff with other Digital Monsters Color devices. That being said, it's fun, but I feel like it's only really fun for like 1 or 2 playthroughs, because, you know, you have to do 2 or 3 playthroughs to unlock the final evolutions of like Zinogre Garurumon and like Rathalos Greymon and stuff like that. But once you get those, there isn't really that much of a reason to load one of these devices up. So like, I know it's going to sound really, really weird, but this is one I would put in decent. It's a great device, but I feel like it loses its like glimmer, its funness after like 1 or 2 runs, in my opinion. Again, like, once you get these guys, there's not really a reason to like load it up anymore. And that being said, you can see a lot of these lines, they're very like one-dimensional. Like if you hatch your monster egg and go into the gorilla guy, you can't really go into anything else. It's just straight into a gorilla guy. Like there is no way to go from like Zinogre to these other monsters. You're locked into Zinogre. So you really pick exactly what you want to get off the rip here, and then you're stuck down that line for the whole time, which is how all Digimon work. But like, you know, if we take a look at like the Digimon 20, you can go from like Gabumon to Kabuterimon to like Skullmamamon. Like that's really cool. I like being able to do stuff like that. So being like locked in to like a line, it's okay, but it gets boring fast, in my opinion. It's a cool device though. I definitely think if you can get one of these for cheap, I would definitely think about picking it up. And up next is going to be the Godzilla Collab Digivices. Now, we don't have that much information on these yet. They're going to be coming out relatively soon. I'm going to put this in that I have not ever seen one of these IRL because they are not out yet. I have these pre-ordered and they're going to be getting here relatively soon, but I liked it. I think they're doing a lot of things right. There's a bunch of little special things for Godzilla's 70th anniversary they're including in this one. So, you know, I've made a video talking about all those Godzilla devices. If you guys want to check that out, I think it's going to be really, really cool. It's probably going to be my favorite Digivice of the year, I think. So definitely looking forward to that coming in. And then the Digital Monster X. Now, I actually think a lot of people are going to rate this one. You either love it or you are not that much of a fan. So the Digital Monsters X comes in a bunch of different versions, but let's check it out. So this is all like the X evolutions, you know, like Renamon X, you know, Agumon X, things like that. And then you can also, you know, use like, I think it's Dukemon is in this one. Yeah, Dukemon X, that's rad. You know, you get access to like Omnimon X, right? Really, really cool stuff at the end of this one. You get like all the like Susanomons. This is the stuff from like Tamers and stuff like that. I really, really like this device. I actually think that these are my favorite devices, the Digital Monsters X. This is probably my favorite Digivice, period, is the War Greymon Asmaria edition one of these. This is probably my favorite Digivice of all of mine. I think the whole like adventure mode with like having to time your attack at the specific point, and then the little screen that you get, like every single mon gets like a little screen that they do whenever they use their attacks. You get like Alpha Mon. I think it's like so cool. There's so many like fan favorite mons in these devices, and for now I'm going to put it at the very top of my list, and we're going to see if it gets replaced. But I really, really do enjoy the X devices. I feel like you have the most impact on the game. You know, whenever you're using like a Pendulum, you're just shaking it. Whenever you're using like a DM20, you're just mashing. Whenever you're, you know, using any other device, you're kind of just going to a battle and your stats take over. But with the Digital Monsters X, you have to like time your attack just perfectly to get those like mega hits. And I think it's really fun. And using like the items that you get at the end of every single line, it just makes it a lot more interactive. And at the same time, they are still pretty cheap since they're not that old yet. I would love for a Digital Monsters X Color. Let me know if you think that that's ever going to happen or not. I would love something like that. That would make me so happy. But that being said, let's go on to the next one. We're going to be taking a look at the D-Ark. Now, I don't have a Humulus page for a D-Ark, and honestly, D-Ark's going to be one of those ones that I've never used one of these before. Oh, man. There we go. Hold on. Random difficulties here. Home. Man, I love Humos, but sometimes the site's kind of weird, right? Let me know if it's just for me that it's like that. Yeah, I have not ever used a D-Ark before, but at the same time, Tamers is one of my favorite series. Let me know if you want to see a tier list going over all the different like Digimon anime, letting me rank those. But I really do want to get one of these. I think they're like $200 on eBay, so they're pretty dated. But yeah, I've not owned one. I thought about getting the Super Complete, which is not really a Digivice for the D-Ark recently, and I didn't want to pull the trigger on it. So this is one of those that I have played with. One of my neighbors growing up had one of these, but I have never owned one. So this is going to be the first one that goes in, played with, but never owned. And I think I'd like one, but I still feel like it would probably be really dated by today's standards. Like a lot of the, just upgrades that we've gotten over the years, being able to, freeze things, put things on cold storage, change your timers to let things live longer and stuff like that. All those little upgrades that make things a lot easier to use Digivices, I don't know if that really comes with it. So it might be kind of hard to use. It might feel really tedious, but I think I'd still want one. I think it'd be a lot of fun. We're going to take a look next at the, where's it? So the Digimon Pendulum Original. Now, this is another one that I have not played with. Sorry, I have played with, but I've never owned, and it's just a pendulum, which is going to be something like this. Let me see if I can pull out a pendulum here. This is the Pendulum Color, so it does all its battles by shaking. So you have to, like, shake a bunch of different times. There's some cool mons here, though. I think it has a bunch of really good sprite work here. Like, Triceramon has, like, great sprite work in this one. You get to the end, and you get, like, Saber, Leomon. You get Hercules, Kabuterimon. It's a great-looking sprite for that thing. One of my favorite mons. So, like, really, really cool sprite work on this. I've just used it because one of my friends my friends growing up had these things. But yeah, I love a lot of the sprite work on these guys, but I've never really had one. I wish I would, but I think they're like $200 something if you want to get one now, and it's just not really coming together. I would put it behind a D-Ark. I'd rather have a D-Ark in my opinion, but it's cool that these still exist. It's cool that like people still use them, and I know a lot of people like them even over the color versions. So let's take a look next at, where is it? Go back to the main page. The next one we're going to be taking a look at is the Pendulum 20th. And again, this is another one of those that actually, I will say this, I've never seen one of these in real life. I've used the original Pendulum, but I've not seen a Pendulum 20th ever. Same idea though. It's a remake, just like we got the remake of the Digital Monsters 20th. This is a remake for the 20th anniversary of the Pendulum, and so it's cool. But I've never actually seen one of these. I'm gonna put it behind the Godzilla one. But honestly, like I'm one of those people that because I don't have that nostalgia factor tying me to pendulums, I would put the pendulums, like I would just use the color one. And I like the color device. I think it's cool. I think it's interactive enough. I wouldn't say it's as good as like the Digital Monsters X, but I do like the Pendulum devices. And the last one that we're going to be taking a look at for the Pendulum line, the second to last one, sorry, is Pendulum Z. This is one that I'm going to say that I've seen it. I've seen my friends talk about this one. I like the sprite work on this one like a lot because it mixes a bunch of the old sprites with like some newer ones, and you have like some fan favorite guys here. So you have like the Deep Saver Z, Nature Spirits, these are things that got turned into the ones that we have in the Pendulum Color. So it's cool. I think it's rad. You have, fan favorites like Imperial Dramon on this one. I've seen it, but like I've never really messed with it myself, but that's still, I'd put it in here, even though like, because I know it exists. Like I've seen this one. I've just never had a time to like run a line on it, but I'd probably have one of these more than one of the originals. That's probably where I'd put it. And then the Pendulum Color. Pendulum Color is great. There is a current like resurgence of the Pendulum Color right now. Like it's kind of hard to get these. I think they're about $80. So I would say if you're at all interested in like a Pendulum Color, this would be now the time to get them. Like you can get them on like Zenin. These are some of the, this is just an ad that's on Humilos, but like you can get a lot of these on Zenin right now for pretty cheap, I would say. But the Pendulum Color is a great Digivice. I think it is a pretty decent Digivice. The fact that it's like rechargeable, you can change your backgrounds. Look how much better like Tentamon looks on like a color than it did on just the sprites. So really good stuff. You have like Nature Spirits, you have the Deep Savers, Nightmare Soldiers. So you can get all these. I think right now there's a resurgence of them. Man, he looks so good. Is that Mamamon? Like, oh, that looks so good. On the, I actually want to run that Nightmare Soldiers. I actually want to get this device. I don't have one. I would like Nightmare Soldiers. I have the Wind Guardians and the Virus Busters. I really like Virus Busters. So many of my favorite mons are in this dim. Fan favorites, got the Gamamon line too. It's a great dim. That being said, where would I put this? See, I don't think it's great though. It's not great. It's probably the top of decent for me. Something about the Pendulum devices, the Pen Color devices, the whole shaking thing like isn't really for me. I don't know. I like mashing, and I like how interactive the Digital Monsters X is. And while this is a cool device, I feel that maybe I just haven't found the right dim. Right? Maybe I just haven't found the right one. Maybe I gotta give this one another try. Let me know if I'm rating this one a little bit low. It could be at the bottom of great, but decent's fine. There's nothing wrong with decent. Decent's like a 75. It's a good device. Like, I'm happy that I have them, but it's definitely not my first grab. Definitely not my first grab at all. I would much so rather like run a DM20 line, Digital Monsters Color line, Digital Monsters X. I would much rather run those or some of the other stuff on this list before another run of the Pendulum Color. So I guess that's why it's so low. Up next is going to be a little bit of a weird one. It's going to be the D-Terminal. D-Terminal is weird. I've never seen one of these. This is something that goes with the D3s from Season 2. I want to say it's like a Pokedex type attachment thing. I've never seen one. Maybe you guys can fill me in the comments. I've never seen one of these IRL, but I don't really think it's like a Vpet. But I'm going to include it in the list because I know a lot of people have them in their collections featured. Oh man, and now I gotta talk about something special. We're gonna talk about the D3 original. I had the yellow one, right? That's the one that you're taking a look at right here. This is from, the D-Ark with like, Flame Dramon, which is one of my favorite Digimon. So I really, really like this Digivice. And I'm so happy that we're actually getting a D3 color coming out. I have a full video going over it. Where would that be? Right here. It's one of my most viewed videos. Good Digivice. I'm really, really excited for the D3 color. Super, super excited for the D3 color. But, yeah, I really, really enjoyed this device as a kid. Oh, man. I was just old enough. Like, I'm probably a little bit older than you guys think. But I was old enough to, like, really understand what you need to do to, like, complete, like, full Digivice lines. And this is, like, before, you could just look all this stuff up on the internet to see, like, how you got specific evolutions and unlocked things. I don't have my original D3 anymore. I don't even know what happened to it, but man, I miss one of these. If I could get one of these again, I'd be so happy. I'm going to put it in the best. I'm going to put it behind the DM20 just because, like I said, I always have one of these things running. But dang, what a nostalgic device. Super, super cool. Love it. I love everything about it. The D3 15th anniversary. I've never actually seen one of these. I know people liked it. It's a 15th anniversary release of the original D3. I think you still pick these up. They're really expensive, but you can get it in like the Pale Dramon version too. I've never seen one of these, but I would be super down to try one. I'm going to put it right here behind the Godzilla devices. So cool so far, but I've not really ever used it. And then up next is going to be the D3 25th Color Evolution. Now, this is a Color Evolution device, which we'll be talking about in just a little bit, but basically it's upgraded with like a fusion of like the Vital Bracelet sprites. It has like a really cool adventure mode. It mixes a lot of what made the D3 special with like upgraded music and mini games, and it's going to probably be a really good device. I'm very excited for it, but I can't put it any higher than this. I can't put it. I'm gonna put it at the top of the I've never seen yet because like it's not out yet. It comes out in like a month and a half. So very, very excited for this device. But they're not out yet, and everything we've seen looks great. I have mine pre-ordered. I can't wait for it to get here, and it should be a lot of fun when it does get here. So we're gonna go and take a look at some devices that like I honestly have not ever really used. I think this is called a D-Scanner, and I think it's from Frontier. Is this one? I've never seen one of these IRL. I've never played with one. But it seems really expensive. I think I was looking up, I think it's like a couple $100 to get one of these things used. I don't know anything about this, but I'm going to put it above the D-Terminal. Again, if you guys have used this device, let me know if you like it or not, but it's not something I've really been familiar with. And up next is going to be the Digimon Pendulum X. Now, I have seen one of these. I've messed around with it for about 5 minutes, and I have seen a few videos of people like going over this device. I think I would actually really like this device. It looks like a Pendulum version of like the X, right? And I think that would be pretty interesting to me, but I've only really played with it for a little bit. I'm going to put it right here behind the D-Ark. I've played with it, but like it was really confusing when I first looked at it. I didn't have a good like understanding of how it worked, but I would love to try one of these again. That would be super, super cool. And we're taking a look at the like original, Digivice. These are like the The 25th Color Evolution is like the newest version of these, but these are kind of just like, they have an adventure mode. You don't have to feed the Digimon and stuff like that, but you just basically go on adventures, unlock stuff, battle bosses, kind of like a little boss mini game. I like these devices. I've played with them a little bit, but I have not owned any until the 25th Color Evolution. So I'm going to rank both these roughly the same, because this is the base model, this is the 15th anniversary, and this is the 25th Color anniversary. I'm going to put these probably here. I'd rather play with the 15th because like I really like the orange shell, so I'm gonna put them like that, right above the Pendulum here, but right behind the Pendulum, whatever that other Pendulum was. It was like Pendulum X or something. Right? Is that what it was? It was the. Give me one sec. Go back to the home page. It was Pendulum Z. Sorry, not Pendulum X. It was Pendulum Z, right behind the Pendulum Z, right? And then we have the 25th Color Evolution, which I have one of right here. Really like this Digivice. These things are super expensive, but I do not regret getting this at all. This might be one of the like most fun interactive Digivices I've ever had. You don't have to worry about feeding anything or cleaning up anything. You just get to pick whichever Digimon you want, go into battles. There's multiple different mini games, multiple different areas to explore. I really like these, and the fact that you can just turn it off is great. You don't have to like worry about your mons dying or anything. It's just really good. I very much so enjoy this device. I'm gonna put it up in the best, and I'm going to put it right behind the Digital Monsters X. I really enjoy the Color Evolution. I think that I'm one of the few people that like really likes these devices, and so that's why I cannot wait for the D3 25th Color Evolution. So up next, this next one's a little bit weird. It's the Cyber Digivice. I've never even seen one of these. I have no clue what this thing is. The next one on our list. I have no clue what this thing is. Don't know what it's from. If you guys know what it's from, let me know. But I'm just going to put it right over here. I've never even seen one of these things. And the next one is the Digivice IC is what I think it's called, or Digivice Burst. I think it's from Savers, right? I think this is from Savers. I've not really seen one of these either. But I'd much rather use it more than the D-Cyber. So I'm going to put it right here. Again, I don't really know that much about these devices. I don't really remember them getting like launched big in the States. So, you know, I don't really know that much about them. I apologize. Maybe I should do some more research, right? If I'm gonna do tier lists for this sort of stuff. But again, I don't know that much about it. And then the last one is the Digimon X. Is it X-Rose or like Cross? It's like X-R-O-S. I've heard of this one. I've seen it, but I've never really like interacted with it. I remember hanging out with a buddy of mine who really liked this device. And I've seen them kind of play it. I guess I'll put it at the very bottom of here, because like I remember it being like needlessly complicated. For like, I remember I was messing around with like the OG Digivices, and they were using one of these, and I was like, that sounds way too complicated. That's not really my jam. But if you guys know stuff about it that I don't, please let me know. Let me know if any of these devices, like, you know, down here, are like any of your favorites. I'd be generally interested in learning a lot more about these other ones, and you know, if I can ever pick some up to review on the channel, I'll definitely try. The last two Digivices here that I want to talk about are pretty important. The first one is going to be the Vital Bracelet, the Vital Hero. This is the Dinosaur Roar, the Greymon version. This is the American Vital Hero. Man, I love these things. These things are just so cool. I enjoy them so much. I think I'm like the Vital Hero's strongest soldier. I still use my Vital Heroes and Vital Bracelet BE all the time. The cool thing about these is they run off DIMs. So instead of like getting a device where you have like, you know, you can get any real Digimon, you have to then also purchase like these little DIM cards. And a lot of what my channel is actually like Vital Bracelet content. You can't really do that much with them anymore. They shut down like a lot of the different servers. But man, I still use these things all the time. I'm still trying to find fun and creative ways to make Vital Bracelet content, but like we used a lot of like we made a lot of like Vital Bracelet content over, you know, the couple years I've had this channel, and I like it so much. It's one of my favorite devices. If we take a look at what makes like the Vital Bracelet special, I think it's a lot of the sprites are really nice. So let's take a look at the original Vital Bracelet here. All these are a bunch of the different DIMs. Like, these sprites are so cool. They have so much like personality, and like the fact that you have to like be interactive and shake it. And then there was the whole app element that during the multiple different apps. I just think it's just such a cool device. Very fun, very interactive. I'm gonna put it up here. at the top of the great category for the Vital Hero / like original Vital Bracelet. And then we're going to talk about the BE, which is one of these. So I have like all of the Vital Bracelets. I have all three: the Pulsemon, the Wolf Howl, the Dinosaur Roar, and then I have 2 Vital Bracelet BEs. And the Vital Bracelet BE is just a straight up upgrade onto what the Vital Bracelet was. You know, you can get a lot more different like dims. You can do a lot more stuff online, and you can still use the online app to like keep your, you know, mons like banked up, which I still go over and do. You get a bunch of different like lines. I really like that they went and did like the whole like D3 line, going over like a bunch of like the fan favorite Digimon. I really enjoyed that. These are some of my favorites. You can get like the whole, it's like, this is basically Virus Busters from the Pendulum line, but like on, you know, the Vital Bracelet. The backgrounds are cool. The adventure mode's cool. It's just a really good way to, you know, take your Digimon with you wherever you want to go and not have to worry about like feeding them or putting them to sleep at the right time. Like, you could just wear it on your watch and it's awesome. I would say that this is definitely going to be right up here. And so you can see the type of devices I like are like, you know, the Color Evolution, the Vital Bracelets, the ones where you, it loses a lot of the Vpet mechanics, but it leans into having more like impact on the game, like impact on the training, and it's how you play with it, not how you like take care of it, right? That's kind of just the stuff that I like. Being able to like have fun when I want it is really important for me on these devices. So this is my list. Again, I will leave a link to this whole tier list if you guys want to show me your list in the comments. Let me know if there's anything I left out. There might be like 1 or 2 devices that I haven't seen, but I would say that I've used and or seen most of the devices on this list. Again, the only ones that I haven't really seen are these really obscure ones from you know, were mostly available in Japan, right? So yeah, that's my list. Hopefully you guys like this little tier list. And if there's any other sort of tier list you want me to cover, give me some ideas in the comments. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And other than that, peace out. I'll see you guys next time.